So the idea from the boat came from a mutual obsession that we had with the boats that kind of emerged individually. And for me, I can speak to mine. I fell in love with this human at a very crucial crossroads of my life. And at the same time, I went on a sailboat adventure. I was like, I've never really been on boats before. So Lane, when I visited, took me on a bunch of boats. And I was like, oh, I think I have been on some boats before. But it wasn't the right boat that like tickled the impetus for the adventure and the love of it. And so I ended up on a Pearson 34 in the Virgin Islands that my friend lived aboard for 10 days. Was it 10 days? Was it 7 days? It was a long time. And so we were out there for quite a while, and I just felt myself falling deep in love with this sailboat and this life. And I got off that back onto land and the fire retreats and the burlesque retreats that I was hosting. And I just knew, I was like, I think I want a sailboat. I think I need to live on a sailboat. And so then I called this one, and Lane said, wait, that's also my dream. And I was like, and I had these visions that it wasn't for me to do alone. So for me, the boat kind of emerged out of nowhere. And then for you?
For me, I went to visit a high school friend, I guess maybe 10 or 12 years ago now, out in St. Thomas. And I fell in love with the islands, and we popped on and off boats, and he was working on turtle tour boats. So getting a chance to sail and snorkel and be part of the community there and live that life. I got a taste for it, and I always wanted to get back, and I kept working my way to it. I lived in St. Pete, I got close, and then I moved to the mountains, and I went back and went into yachting because I was like, how do I get on a boat to the island? And I was like, okay, well, I'm going to work on boats then. So I started working on boats, hoping to one day get my own sailboat, but I also didn't want to do it alone. And just taking all the knowledge I could, tried to work my way out to the islands, and then I went to visit St. Croix with a friend of mine to help on another friend's boat, and that's where we met around fire. I like to say we met around fire in the middle of the water, and she has a lot of fire and I have a lot of water, so together I started spinning fire, we started hanging out more. I was in the boat world, so yeah, having her visit my boat world, I was like, I don't know, come check it out. So when she called me and was like, hey, I think I want a sailboat, I was like, dream girl, same dream, LFG.
Yeah, it really coalesced in a beautiful way. And I ended up moving down to Florida to go be with Lane. But that summer I was here in Chicago letting go of all of my possessions, like a lot of my possessions, moving out of a collective loft that I ran and managed for like 14 years. And I started, I came back in a rage and a tizzy back to Chicago, and I ended up at a party, an underground loft dance party that went all night. And my dear friend Colty, I was like, I am going to live on a sailboat. I don't know why. I know this is out of left field. I also fell in love with a woman in Florida. I got to go. And everyone was just like, Gia, this tracks. Yeah, I love this for you. Mm-hmm. But our friend Colty looked at me and was like, my partner Kent owns a sailboat and he needs people to go sailing with. And I was just like, what? And then they were like, he's at this party. Let's go find the cat. And he's dressed like a cat. So I actually ended up learning to sail on smaller Colgate 26s in a sailing collective and this boat. Mm-hmm.
I think all of it's a learning curve. So I find it all to be really challenging. And it's like a funny wave, right? Because we're like, we are going to do this with the conversions and adding the arch, and it's like in the beginning you're like super excited and we're gonna do this, and then it turns into like, this is crazy, this is hard, and then like you take a day and you're like, and then it starts coming together with help of friends and sometimes YouTube videos. And then when it comes together you're like, oh yeah, totally got it. 9 days later, now it's just like, yeah, something in the past. Under the bridge. Under the bridge.
Yeah, I think it's all been a really big learning curve. For me, I have not done much mechanical work, like with the diesel engine, pretty much none. And I've not done much electrical work. So that has been my biggest learning curve. I've assembled things, but also this big solar arch that we just put on the back. This was a really big one. It was such a huge, it was just huge. Like, it was metal work and electric, and at the same time, our friend Tony has been helping us learn in so many different ways. Thank you, Tony. But yeah, I think that's probably freshest in my mind. But the icebox to fridge conversion was also a really hard one. I think the hardest thing about the work on the sailboat is that it's a sailboat from 1977. Uptown Girl has had many, many owners, and not all of them have really upgraded her. No one has upgraded her to be a liveaboard.
Yeah, they haven't needed to.
Yeah, and so we're finding just all of these holes people have put in, or like electric wires people have done, or things people have cut over the years, over her 48 years of existence. And so we have to figure out the puzzle of the history of what has been done and what to do going forward. So.
And baseline, it's a puzzle anyway, because it's a boat.
Why do you say that?
Well, because it's all different, right? Like, it's not like, I don't know, in a house, you know where everything goes, and it's to a box, and it's to the ground, and it's to like a thing outside. But here it's like, where is this wire? I can't get under the floor. Hey, you go over there. I'm going to tug over here, and you tell me what's happening. And is there water damage on the way down? And then how do you get it back underneath the floor? And then it's like, where did these wires come from? And then finding the wires over there was actually linked just around the boat. I don't know. But it's all new.
I think my favorite sailing story is last year we needed to take the boat up to Sheboygan to have all these beautiful shelves put in, where we also found out that our friend Tony is a great engine mechanic. And my favorite story was when nobody else who was good at sailing could go with us, and so we just decided to do it ourselves. So the two of us did a 26-hour sail by ourselves up to Sheboygan. We left here at sunrise and just figured it out.
Yeah, figured it out, which was amazing, because like, just, you know, getting that trust in yourself and your partner, like, well, we're gonna figure it out either way, so let's go. And then coming in the next morning, like right after sunrise, and getting to the dock, and like, fortunately, there was like no one else on the dock, so it was just like, let's just pick a slip, babe. We didn't even tell anyone we were coming. Like, we got this. And then the celebration of being like, oh, we did it. Just the two of us. Like, that was the first time it was like, okay, we did it. We can do anything.
And one of my favorite things about that sail was seeing the light change from dawn to midday to sunset to dark to incredible stars, back into sunrise. And it was so beautiful to see that happen over the water.
Yeah. Favorite fix-it? 8-track player. We have an 8-track player.
We have an 8-track player.
And the previous owner didn't know why it didn't work. We didn't know, and we were like pressing all the buttons and being like, do we take it out? What do we do? And then finally it was just like, our friend gave us some wires, so we just checked it. And all of a sudden it was like, wait a minute, it's worked the whole time. And then we just rewired it to a light that was in our closet, because we decided not to use that light. We didn't find out where the bad wire was until like a few months later, but now we have an 8-track player.
It's pretty cool. I think one of my other favorite fix-it stories is we were up on the Hard, meaning the boat was on dry dock over the winter. We came back in May and found that the rudder had a huge crack on the bottom and the top. And we were like, oh, that's not good for salt water. It happens in freshwater boats all the time because it freezes and thaws. And so I got to learn how to do fiberglass epoxy really quick. And we had all these ideas of like digging a hole or like lifting the boat up and all of this. And the boat manager was just like, nah, you just drill some holes and you fill it with epoxy on the bottom and the top. Just seal it in, put a couple layers of fiberglass on either end, and you're good. And we were like, wow, that was a lot easier than we were going to make that.
Syringes and duct tape. Who knew?
Yeah, actually, yeah. Good drill, some duct tape. And the first time we mixed epoxy, we put so much of it. And the more epoxy that you mix, the hotter it gets. And it actually burned a hole through the blanket that we were using underneath it and just like melted and smoked everywhere. It was wild. It was wild. The second time we did it a lot better.
Nice job, Jenny. Just being out there, knowing the possibilities, like, seeing the sky change. I mean, the water is gorgeous, the waves, like, when you're out there with huge waves, just like that kind of like, I don't know, like...
It's a rock and surfing motion of the boat, and your whole body feels it. And
I was gonna say the fear and the power. Oh. I want to watch storms roll in. I want to survive and just be like, just feast on that feeling of aliveness. Yeah.
I love the sense of flow that sailing brings. It really brings me into a full state of present moment mindful awareness, where you listen to the wind and how it feels on your skin. You see the glittering of the sun or the colors on the water. It's constantly changing, and it's just awe-inspiring. And just tuning the sails to the wind, and then steering the boat however the waves are pushing it. It's always active, and I think that maybe it doesn't catch my eye, but it more so catches my focus and my passion, because it's so much bigger than us, and we're just this little wing skirting our 25,000 pounds along, floating our house along the water.
Yeah, just out here floating.
St. Croix.
That's the goal. That's our end game. I'm also very excited to take her to the Bahamas with me, because when I was working in the Bahamas, so I saw, like seeing those waters and snorkeling with those fish. And I remember working and just like watching everyone else anchored out and being like, one day, like I want to feel that, I want to do that, and then to be able to take a loved one somewhere and be like, hey, let's go to the aquarium, let's go snorkeling there, and just...
The aquarium meaning just the water?
No, well, there's a dive spot called the aquarium.
What?
Because it looks like an aquarium when you're in there, because there's so many baby fish. It's like it's a curved chunk of land, and the current goes on either side, so all the fish sit inside.
Babe,
this
are you
little
going
globe.
to take me there?
It's one of the places, yeah.
I think developing this relationship while being in a kind of stressful situation, rehabbing a boat from 1977. And also maintaining an off-grid van.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, having each other,
yeah.
I think, yeah.
Mm-hmm. When she first moved down in Florida with me before we got the boat, she was like, we don't have the boat yet, are we even looking? And I was like, babe, we just found out we could live in a room together for long term. Like, we're talking about moving in tiny spaces, and we were listening to so many podcasts about the different things you need to know about. And one of them was, can you live in a small place with that person? And we were like, that's like the most important thing.
Yeah.
So now we can live in tiny spaces anywhere.
Mm-hmm. And problem solving, shit gets real.
Mm-hmm.
I know that we've got this, and also if it's just a lazy, easy day, we can flow with anything. Mm-hmm. I think that's... Mm-hmm.
Don't yell at each other when you're docking.
No.
Don't do it.
Yeah, I think that's... that's, I think what I'm most proud of is this bond, because I know we can take on anything.
Yes. I got nervous about Fire on Boat today. We have our new stove we're working on, and it's an alcohol stove. Mm-hmm. So we got it. It's all, you pump it up to 15 PSI. Pretty excited. There's 3 burners, but like one, this works really good. The other doesn't really burn. And the other, I think, just sprays alcohol. So I had to call Gia down. I turned off everything, and there was just this huge fire, and I was like, well, I guess I'll release the pressure and watch it. So Fire on Boat. We're learning that lesson this week.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's been real. We have done so many improvements to this to make it a live aboard, off-grid home that just feels like we're on full throttle with this adventure. And it feels really exciting to just make some really big changes.
Murphy. We're Murphy that sometimes we're flaming Murphy.
Yep. Murphy on fire.
Yeah.
The tagline for Radical Moon Love. Radical Moon Love is the us and our 2 Irish twin off-grid homes, the boat and the van. And so the mission is Artful Adventure.
I thought you were going to say Glitter and Grease, but yes, Artful Adventure.
Glitter and Grease
like,
is also,
okay.
Maybe Glitter and Grease is the tagline, but the mission is Artful Adventure.
Yes.
And something that I hold dearest to my heart is how can this boat not just be someone's idea of what a sailboat is, or like the way other people think about sailboating, sailing, traveling, off-grid lifestyles, but how do we make it an artful way to express ourselves, to encourage other people to have that same authentic, artful experience of life, and to just like dive into how it can be very fulfilling and mythical and
whimsical,
mysterious, deeply spiritual, and activate that meaning that art, I believe, brings us to. Whatever that is for you.
I agree.